Let's talk about new product strategy. Now, remember, we've got four generic growth strategies: going after existing products in existing markets, going after existing products in new markets, going after completely everything new, new products in new markets, and then what many people do, going after new products in existing markets. And that, of course, is a product development strategy where you create growth by selling new products in existing markets. When we start to look at a new product strategy, first, we want to look back at our existing product line and analyze our existing product line. So let's start with a little bit of looking back at basic product concepts. Now, remember, there are so-called layers of the product concept. There's the core product. Now, those are all of the benefits the product will provide. There's the actual product, the physical good or delivered service that supplies the desired benefits, and the augmented product, the actual product plus the supporting features, credit, warranty, delivery, installation, whatever. Let's look at an example of the layers of the product concept, and we'll use the automobile as our example. Now, the core product delivers the basic benefits, and those basic benefits are transportation, carrying cargo, excitement, perhaps, if you have something like a Ford Mustang, and image enhancement if you've got a status car. Now, the actual product, the physical good that supplies the desired benefits, well, that's all of the things that are actually in the car: the features, the overall package, the brand, the quality, the appearance. So that would be for a car, things like the engine size, the interior design, the color, the body style, the various options that are available, and so on. Now, the augmented product, now that's the actual product plus. So in addition to the actual physical car, you get things like, warranty, installation, customer support services, delivery, credit, and so on. So there you've got the three layers, if you will, of the product concept: the core product, the actual product, and the augmented product. The car is a consumer durable. Well, at least this car is a consumer durable. Marketers classify products as consumer products or business to business products. And then within those, we've got classifications. Within the consumer products, we've got consumer durables and non durables. Then looking at it a different way, we've got convenience products, shopping products, and specialty products. For business to business, we've got equipment, MRO, maintenance, repair, and operating products, raw materials, process materials, component parts, and specialized services. Let's look at those one at a time, starting with consumer durable goods. Durable goods provide benefits over a period of time: months, years, decades, hence they're durable. Examples of durables would be an automobile, washing machine. Non-durable goods are consumed in the short term: newspapers, beverages, printer cartridges, chewing gum. A different way to classify products would be convenience, shopping, and specialty. Now, again, convenience products are frequently purchased with little thought. They're staples like milk, impulse purchases like candy bars. Shopping products are purchased with considerable time and effort. Those would be things like shoes, which would be more attribute based, or a water heater, which would be more price based. Of course, even more time and effort goes into specialty products. Specialty products are very, very unique. They're important to buyers, very, very expensive things: a car, a Rolex watch, and so on. So-called unsought products, just to finish off our consumer classifications. Unsought products are those that you have little interest in until a need arises. Liquid plumber: hey, I don't really care until I have a clog, and then I need to grab my liquid plumber. Now, those are the consumer product designations. B2B, business to business products, are classified by how organizational customers use them. Equipment and maintenance, repair, and operating, MRO, those are used in the production process. So those are used in the development of goods. So-called entering goods, if you remember that term, those go actually into the product. Now, entering goods are things like raw materials. Raw materials would be basic steel, or processed materials, steel tube. Component parts are already partly completed, but they would just be a component of a larger product. So if we were making chairs, for example, we might start with basic raw material steel, or we might buy the steel tubes and then bend those or crush those. But then we might buy some component parts where we don't do anything other than assemble them to the chair. That might be a seat, that might be a wheel, things like that. In addition to products, business to businesses buy services, specialized services, IT services, accounting services, advertising services, and so on. Now, let's talk about new products. Well, first off, to call something a new product, there actually are rules for that. The Federal Trade Commission puts together those rules. A product must be entirely new or changed significantly to be called new. So you can change something significantly and call it new and improved, but you can only call something new for 6 months. Now, new and improved is one of the most common types of quote-unquote new products, where you take an existing product and you just make a slight improvement to it. The most common type of innovation to an existing product is called a continuous innovation. Now, continuous innovations are slight modifications to an existing product, but you can call that new and improved when you make that slight modification. Basic products like Tide laundry detergent, Oreo cookies are continually coming up with product improvements, new and improved, continuous innovations. And a major reason is there's lots of other people that are gunning for them, because it's very, very easy to take a static product and knock it off. Now, a knockoff is as close as possible copy to an existing product. And the more successful a product is, the more likely it is that some wannabe competitor is going to come out with a knockoff. For example, Tide. Tide is the best-selling laundry detergent, so no surprise. Tide is a Procter & Gamble product. Lever Brothers, the other big laundry detergent manufacturer, tried to knock it off, and they were really clever and creative with the name of their product. They came out with Surf to compete directly against Tide. Now, Surf barely, scratched the surface of what Tide's sales were, so Surf was not a successful knockoff. Another very, very unsuccessful knockoff was Zune, the personal music player from Microsoft that knocked off the iPod. Zune never got more than a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of iPod's market share. Another example of a knockoff, very, very, very similar product. Dr. Pepper's a very, very successful product, so Coke came out with Mr. Pibb. Notice the similarities in the cans, in the color. Notice the similarity in the name, Dr. Pepper, Mr. Pibb. If you've ever tasted Mr. Pibb, it tastes identical to Dr. Pepper. But Coke was unable to make much hay with Mr. Pibb. It never really made much inroads against Dr. Pepper. But that wasn't the case when Coke knocked off 7-Up. 7-Up came first. That was a lemon lime soda. And so Coke knocked off the 7-Up product with their version of it, which they called Sprite. Over time, Sprite actually came to supplant 7-Up as the best-selling lemon lime product. And in fact, there's now another knockoff in that category. Pepsi knocked them off with Sierra Mist, although Sierra Mist has not done much in that category. I started by mentioning Oreos. Interestingly enough, Oreos is a knockoff. The original sandwich cream cookie was Hydrox. Hydrox came out in 1908. Oreo, the people at Nabisco, knocked off the Hydrox product and came out with Oreo 4 years later. Of course, Oreo's done a better job over time than Hydrox, so they've completely supplanted Hydrox. Hydrox tried to, claim a superiority because they were first. Here's one of their ads. Somebody's been eating my Hydrox. No wonder it's the original cream-filled chocolate cookie. But Oreo did a much, much, much better job. Hydrox was a sunshine product. Here's another Sunshine product that was knocked off, Cheez-It. Cheez-It was knocked off by Cheese Nips, but fortunately for Sunshine in this case, Cheese Nips did not make nearly as many inroads against Cheez-It as they wanted to. Lots and lots and lots of products will very closely try to copy existing products. That's why companies are always trying to come up with product improvements, new and improved, new and improved. If it's just a slight modification to an existing product, that's called a continuous innovation. If it's a more pronounced modification, that's called a dynamically continuous innovation. Dynamically continuous innovations are pronounced modifications to an existing product, and they might require a modest amount of learning or behavior change. Windows kept coming up with continuous improvements. There was Windows 3.1, there was Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 2000, and so on, Windows NT, Windows 7. They were all very, very similar, and so it was very, very easy for people to upgrade to the new version of Windows. Not so when Microsoft came out with Windows 8. Windows 8 was very, very different in look, feel than the earlier versions, and people were very, very resistant to it because it required more learning, than they really wanted, and so that was what was a problem with that operating system by Microsoft. They then completely skipped 9 in the numbering system and jumped forward to 10, which retained a whole lot more of the look and feel of the earlier versions. Dynamically continuous products, pronounced modifications for an existing product. Another thing that dynamically continuous innovations sometimes do is provide convergence. Now, convergence is when two or more technologies come together to create a new system with greater benefits than its parts. The telephone answering machine used to be a standalone product. You would buy an answering machine, you would plug your phone into it, and then you'd program it so after a certain number of rings, it would turn on and it would take a message down from whoever was calling. Well, nowadays, no one needs an answering machine because you just have voicemail coupled with your phone service, the convergence of the phone and the voicemail. Technology products have provided an enormous amount of convergence. It used to be if you wanted a copy, you would make it on a mimeograph machine. Well, then when computer printers came out, a lot of times that eliminated the need to print something and then make copies. You could just print multiple copies of something. Another great example of convergence is the iPhone. The iPhone brought together phone and music player and camera. And hey, I've got a little teeny computer in my pocket. In fact, the iPhone is such a game changer that maybe it's wrong to call it a dynamically continuous innovation. Maybe it's a so-called discontinuous innovation. Again, these are gray areas, but a discontinuous innovation is a totally new product. A discontinuous innovation is, a brand new way of doing things. It creates big changes in the way you do things. Oftentimes there's a great deal of learning. One great example of a discontinuous innovation was the microwave oven. When the microwave oven first came out, people were afraid of it. They weren't sure how it was even possible to, cook food in 2 minutes. That was just completely out of the realm of, their experience. And one thing that slowed down the adoption of the microwave, in addition to people being very, very concerned about how does this even work, was the price. I went and got an ad back from 1964 when microwaves first came out. And here's a microwave, a special offer microwave from Litton, $610 for a microwave oven back in 1964. Now again, inflation, if we use the consumer price index tables to figure out what is that worth in today's dollars, that microwave oven cost $4,462, almost $4,500. But of course you wouldn't pay $4,500 for a microwave oven today. Just out of curiosity, I went to Walmart.com. I could basically get that same oven for, call it $60. Yeah, but discontinuous innovations, they're totally new products. They completely change the way you do things. Uh, Typically, those can be big, big, big hit products.